What goes on, guys? We're back here again with yet another review, and today we're taking a look at two figures that I have been pretty damn excited for. Today we're going to be taking a look at the brand new McFarlane Toys DC Multiverses, the classic Riddler and the Justice Buster. And I have always wanted a Justice Buster. I really like the Mattel Collect and Connect one. I never got it, but it looked awesome. I think that one looked better, but this one's bigger, it's heavier, it just, oh man, it probably has more articulation. I'm very, very excited for both of these figures. So, taking a look at the packaging here, it's pretty standard. You get your DC Multiverse boxes. I love the artwork on both of the boxes of these. I would love this is like a little mini poster or something. Super sick. And then you get Edward Nygma looking all sexy as he does. And then obviously you get the tops and the bottoms with nothing really on there. The bottom, there's your barcode for the Riddler. And then there is your barcode for the Justice Buster. This is going to cost you $40. This guy's going to cost you $20. So without further ado, let's go ahead and pop these guys open and take a look. So getting these boys out of the packaging, I gotta say, I do like them. I don't think that they're by any means figures of the year, either one of them, but I will say that each one of them has a lot of good things going on. But of course, you know, being a review, there are going to be things that I don't really like, and I think that they could have done better. So we'll go ahead and start with Riddler, just because he's a lot more reuse. I don't necessarily know who I like more or less. Probably Riddler a little bit more, just because I've been asking for a Riddler a little bit longer than I wanted a Riddler more than the Justice Buster. But we'll go ahead and start with Riddler and then hop into the Justice Buster. So as I mentioned, Riddler is a lot of reuse, from the neck down minus maybe the belt and these forearm pieces. He's complete reuse of that body buck that we've been seeing a lot, which for me isn't necessarily a problem. I don't think it's my favorite body buck in the world, but for a character like Riddler, it works. What I do love is this amazing Riddler head sculpt. I love the blue highlights in the hair. I love the deep sculpt that they use, very crisp. I love his domino mask. It's purple, looks great. I don't like how this is painted on his body. That looks pretty bad. I didn't really notice it until I had him up on camera, but I do not like the way that that looks. I do like, however, all these little question marks painted all over him. I think that that is pretty awesome. He's even got one on each of his butt cheeks. It's a little odd that there's like none on the sides of his legs. I don't know if that's a misprint problem, but it's not the end of the world. I would have liked maybe one like on the inner thigh here. I know you can't paint it, but like there should be one here and there should be one here on both sides. That's just my opinion. And then kind of Marvel Legends style, they have these cuffs for his gloves, which I like that. McFarlane, keep doing that. I think that that's a great I just dropped the hand. I think that that's a great idea to implement this kind of glove like technique, because then it makes his body even more reusable when you keep adding add-on pieces. I like that. But I really, really love the head sculpt. I think that that looks amazing and perfect for old Edward Nygma. But, you know, that's just my opinion. I know some people kind of wanted the hatted look for Riddler. I'm looking for that stinking hand. The hatted look for Riddler, and that's cool. But for me, I'm fine with this look for him. Now, McFarlane did something pretty odd that they don't usually do, and it's just kind of weird that they did it for Riddler instead of, like, Batman. I don't know. I don't make up the rules. I just follow them, I guess. But he does come with your standard DC Multiverse card, which, you know, whatever. If you like that, there's your read up. And he comes with the figure stand, which everybody loves. But one thing that they did that was really weird, but kind of awesome, they gave him a bevy of extra hands. So we'll just run through them. It's like so odd to me. He's got two gripping hands, which are more like trigger finger hands, but you know, you can kind of just use them for gripping hands in his situation. He comes with a pointer finger and a thumbs up hand, which, you know, get expressive for Edward Nygma. I'm okay with that. And then you get like two open hands. One's a little bit more clenched than the other. One's kind of like, focus on here. Where you at? Come on. One's kind of like wide open, while the other is kind of like clenched a little bit. And then obviously you get a pair of fist hands. And of course, it wouldn't be Riddler without the question mark cane. So if you want, this is probably how I'm going to display him. I really like expressive hands. So I'm going to do I'm probably gonna slap this hand on there, the gripping hand. The cane is kind of skishy, but it's not horrible. And then put on this nice hand here, and boom. Like, that looks like a really awesome Riddler. That is super cool to me. I really, really like that. I like the way that his hand is expressive. It allows him to, you know, be the character that he wants to be in that regard. I like that. And then you do get, like, his, you know, all his posability with his hand. So that is awesome. McFarlane, keep doing that. If you're going to reuse bodies, I'm fine with less accessories for new good sculpts. As long as you come with what you need to. Don't take that as I don't want accessories. But if you're going to reuse bodies, make them worth it. And this, to me, for 20 bucks is totally worth it to get all these hands. Do I think it's completely necessary for a character like Riddler? Give or take. But I'm happy to have it nonetheless. Now, in terms of articulation, it's probably nothing you haven't seen. You get a double ball peg at the head. It'll rotate. He'll look up. He'll look down. Pivot side to side. All that good stuff. Sort of goes up, down, rotate 360. You get a nice butterfly thing in there, like the ball peg on the long head hinged peg on there is nice. You get double jointed elbows, a bicep swivel, and then wrist swivel and hinge in there, and they do get good range, and the gloves really don't get in the way, so you kind of just compose it and then kind of like rotate the glove to match how you want to. It's actually a really good system. You can also glue these down if you really want to, but I don't think you need to. Diaphragm joint is okay. He'll arch back very far. Forward, it goes, but there's really no reason it can't be better. Pivot side to side, rotate up and bottom. I do like this sculpt. It's not a great sculpt necessarily, but for Riddler, it's pretty damn good. So hips go out, he'll go forward, backwards, upper thigh cut. One thing that I'm going to mention, well, actually, no upper thigh cut, kind of, but it does rotate a little bit. But one thing that I'm going to mention about the diaper is if you pose his leg up, I do see stress on the plastic here. So, I mean, not that you're going to pose Riddler like this, but... and it kind of like takes a minute to go back down. I would just be cautious about that. You get double jointed knees. Should be a boot rotation there, but there's not. Ankles, I don't like the ankles on this body mold. They look nice, but they don't move great. You get up, pivot, and toe hinge. The ankles, the reason, it's not that the range is bad and the aesthetic is bad. It's just they have like the keyed pieces, like the teeth in the hinge, and I hate that because it makes them really difficult to stand. You gotta balance them in like awkward poses, which a lot of the time it's not horrible. I mean, because like even like this, like that's a pretty good Riddler pose, but just not something that I'm a huge fan of. Now let's switch over to the Justice Nutbuster, and I think this looks pretty awesome. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I really did want the Mattel Collect and Connect one, but I was never able to get my hands on it. I was not at the time when that came out. That was like towards the end of Mattel's run, I believe, and I was not collecting at that time. I was pretty young, so I really am happy to have a Justice Buster. In all honesty, I like the aesthetic of the Mattel one better. Not that this figure looks bad by any means, and I'm going to go into why I do like it, but why did my lights go out? But they, it does cause a little bit of an issue, or not an issue with me, just kind of wish it was a little bit better in terms of other things. So taking a closer look at the sculpt here, I really gotta bend these legs down. I really like the way that the head looks. If you put these up more, which I'm thinking of heating them up and then cooling them down so that they're up a little bit more, not so flat. I always thought it looked like an owl, but then when they're up like this, it definitely looks more like a bat. So I really like the way that that looks. The blue in there is nice, and then you do get a nice metallic sheen along the body, different finishes, so you get some flatter parts in the crevices, where on the top it's a little bit more shiny. You get this really nice dry brushing effect on the certain parts of the body. Anything that's black on this body, other than the joints themselves, has this nice dry brush, which I kind of wish that was carried throughout the whole body, but it's not the end of the world. You do get some dry brush on the feet here. I really like the way that they sculpted this. I mean, that's McFarlane's strong suit, definitely his sculpts, and I really like the way that they did all the robotic detail in him. I don't know where a person would fit in this. I think this suit is way too small. If you were to get, let's just take the Riddler, for example, here. I don't really know how you would fit in this, unless it's like a Like, I haven't read the book in a while. I don't really, when I was young when I read it, like, I don't know if he puts his legs in there or like, and then it's like a remote control, like video game inside there, but there's no way he's getting his arms in here. So it's very interesting design. And maybe it's a little small, the figure, but I like the way that there's dry brush on the knuckles there. That looks awesome. The bat gears and gaskets, super sick detail. I don't know if that's from the book or that looks like a Todd thing, but that is super, super cool. And then you do get his big, like, robotic feet, which I like as well. So the sculpt, and then you do get, like, thrusters. It would have been cool if they had, like some, you know, like blast effects. That would be cool. Get some more pipes and gaskets up there. But, yeah, I think that he looks pretty damn awesome. And, you know, while I think he could be a little bit bigger, you know, it does have a really nice sculpt and a decent paint job to boot. One thing that I'm going to say is accessories are light, and I'm going to say why this is a problem. So you do get the figure stand, and you do get the card, which I don't give a damn about either one of them. There's the read-up if you're looking for it, but that isn't super accurate. The shoulder should be a lot wider. He should be a lot more stocky. I do like that they added paint detail, but the chest is completely different. It's missing some details, like the blades on the sides. I don't know. It's not completely accurate. I definitely like this design more than this design, but, you know, whatever. But my biggest complaint with this figure is you have the perfect opportunity to make jointed fingers. Just little flat hinges on each of the hands, and they did not. And now that wouldn't be a problem if he came with interchangeable hand pieces to be able to do a fist hand and to be able to do open hands. But they did not do that. So I really, really am disappointed in that. Honestly, I'm halfway tempted to get like a drill and just drill a hole through these. You cut it in half, drill a hole through these, and see if I can get it to move myself, like make the hinge myself, because it'd be pretty awesome. But I'm not huge on that. I'm a little upset that they did that. So I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Maybe it's not that big a deal, but I kind of wish that he had different pieces for hands. Now, as for articulation, it's interesting. You do get the double ball peg at the head, and for the most part, it allows a lot more movement than I thought it would. So you can get like some pivot up in there and rotate. It's more like a shifting joint, but it's pretty cool. I do like the way that they did the head. I think that that's as best as it can be. Shoulders are going to go outwards that far. They will go down. Big, heavy clicks forward to about there, back to about there. You do get a bicep swivel in there. Very nice. And then, as you can see, single jointed elbow. That's all you get. No wrist articulation at all. So punching poses can be a little bit difficult. But, you know, if you know what you're doing, you can kind of manage it. Not terrible. Again, I think the knuckles should have been articulated. You get a really loose ball joint. I mean, look at that. That's really, really loose. It won't really hold the weight on certain parts. There's not a lot of range anyway. Like, going back and forth, it clicks back into place. Like, I don't know. It feels like there's a spring in there. Really weird choice. So I don't like the diaphragm joint. He'll kick forward, back, upper thigh swivel, like a full-on rotation. It's nice. At the, I don't know what these would be called on a robot, but at the stifle and the hock, I guess, is like the anatomical terms. You know, I got an animal science school. So, at the stifle, what I'm going to call it, you do get a hinge, and then at the hock, you get another hinge. This cap along the hock does hinge as well, so you can kind of cover that up. So if you want him to be taller, you can extend both of those and do it like that, which is not accurate, so I don't know. I'm not huge on the way that that looks. And then you get like a swivel joint at the ankle here. It's kind of, I guess it's a big ball. I don't know. It pivots a little bit and rotates in there. So for the most part, you're going to want to keep him pretty degenerate. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not a huge fan on the articulation of this. I was hoping that when I would open him, I know that I didn't expect him to be like, you know, Mayfex Spider-Man level articulation, but kind of wish he had a little bit more juice to him because there's not that much going on here. You've already seen them compared to each other, but here they are next to the NECA King Kong and the Jazzwares Fortnite series Peely. Here they are next to the 7-inch scale Dark Knight Returns McFarlane Toys Batman and the 6-inch scale Hasbro Marvel Legends Darwin, which I like this better in terms of scaling. This doesn't look bad, But again, I don't know how Batman's getting in that suit, so I definitely prefer the way that this looks. Like, that looks more realistic to me, but maybe that's just me. And of course, here they are to the Marvel Legends Hasbro Zombie Captain America. So at this point, you guys are probably wondering, yo, Ant, what are you thinking of these figs? And I gotta say, they're okay. They're nothing amazing. They'll get the job done. I do really like the Riddler. I'm happy to be building out a classic Batman Rogues gallery. I mean, we got Riddler now. Many Jokers to pick from. Mr. Freeze was awesome. Catman. I haven't got my hands on Catman yet, but I can't wait to get him. We could use a classic Penguin. That would be great. Two-Face, we definitely need a Two-Face. Bane was really good. Clayface was good. Catwoman's were good. There's a bunch of good stuff out there. We do need a classic Ra's al Ghul though. So there's a couple ones that we're missing, but for the most part, I'm just happy to build out Batman Rogues Gallery. And as for the Justice Nutbuster, it's okay. I definitely would prefer the Mattel one. I'm not going to get rid of him or anything. He'll be great for the Batman display one day, but for now, he's just okay. So, at a price point of $20, I'm going to go ahead and give Riddler an 8 out of 10. He's pretty solid. He could use a little bit more question marks on the side of his leg, but the accessories are great. The articulation is average for this body, and I think the head sculpt's fantastic. So, I think an 8 is a fair assumption for $20. But for $40, for no accessories, and limited articulation on the Justice Buster, I'm going to go ahead and only give him a 6 out of 10. Because the sculpt is pretty incredible. I think the posability is enough. But the joints on the fingers not being there sucks. And he comes with no accessories. So, with all that being said, I believe that's all I got for today. If you have not already, please just sure to like, comment, subscribe. Also, be sure to follow me on Instagram and TikTok. I post a lot over there. I have a lot of fun. So, I'm sure you all will too. But as always, let me know. You coppin'? See you guys in the next one. Peace.
What goes on, guys? I wanted to hop on here again and thank you all for watching, and to let you know that if the following apps interest you, feel free to follow me on them as I put the links in the description for you guys. I really appreciate everything you all do for me, so DM me with any questions or thoughts. I'd love to sit and talk with you all. Again, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.